Hello and welcome to Penny Thoughts. I'm your host, Victoria Martin, and I want to talk to you about my research on the mediation of politics with a focus on social media. I'm specifically interested in the way that new media technologies have impacted political conversations and governance. We see throughout history that when media technology develops, it impacts the way that those in power maintain that power and deal with opposition. These media technologies are not neutral agents. Accessibility and societal structures are often reflected and amplified in media technology. A historical example of this is that of the printing press. This technology was first developed to print Bibles, a poignant example of whose message, in this case on the very condition of humanity, gets to prevail. Contemporarily, social media reflects many prejudices and continues to perpetuate them. These concerns have brought me to two central questions which guide the focus of my research. Question 1. Dialogue and debate in a post-truth society. How does new media and technology impact global conversations and social reality? Question 2. How do we balance the trade-offs of allowing new media technology to develop with its threat to social and political representation? Now, what work have I done with these questions, and what have I learned from them? Research has been done to quantify the ways in which people engage with certain social media platforms. A study by Andrew Guest and his colleagues asked the question, in the past week, did you yourself use a social networking site to share news or information about the presidential campaign or candidates, such as by posting or replying to or commenting on a post? The study laid an excellent groundwork for the continued study of social media and political communication on these platforms and highlights some of the difficulties of defining and developing accurate survey questions and data models. All this to say, the purpose of the research is to potentially prevent systemic and algorithmic biases from interfering with political discourse and discussion. The impact of social media on politics cannot be underestimated or dismissed. I feel incredibly lucky to be doing this work in the midst of such political turmoil in Trump's second term. I feel as though I have a consistent influx of information that illustrate the validity and affirmation of my research questions. Such instances include the Charlie Kirk shooting and the responses from the government and public alike to this event. In a very real way, people were doxxed based on the response to the Charlie Kirk shooting, and members of the U.S. government were fired as a result. This case in itself is interesting to me as Kirk found his rise to fame on social media. He knew how to create content that would do well on these platforms and interacted with the supporters in a way that would resonate and spark debate. People would engage with his content, and there would be fighting between individuals on either side of the conversation, which again further pushes his content. There's a lot that I can deconstruct from this instance. The mechanism of social media has been instrumental both to the platforming of political figures, but also shaping the way that the public understands and engages with politics. The philosopher Perot asserts that those whose voice and message is loudest and most often replayed will be validated. Simply having a platform and knowing how to assert your point allows one to have a considerable amount of influence previously unthought of in the past. Another example is from the No Kings protests that happened in response to Trump's authoritarian administration and dissolution of democratic processes with a slew of executive orders. I found the rally to be noteworthy in the way that it was so widespread. Social media in this instance was a mobilizing force. It allowed those who were politically engaged to do something to make their voices heard outside of the digital sphere. In response, Trump shared an AI-generated video of himself literally shitting on the protesters. This video was widely circulated and felt like a slap in the face to those who attended the rallies. How could this be the response of the president to the concerns of his citizens? The video was essentially political rage bait. Now I want to talk to you about an underdog, the new mayoral-elect Zohran Mamdani. I hate to do this, but I'd like to compare him to Trump for a moment. They both had very strong social media presences, and their voices and opinions were clear to the people. And people gathered behind it identified with these political figures as a result. In both cases, social media made their political campaigns successful. In his article, AI in Politics, Ensuring or Threatening Democracy, Koropis' central question focuses on the ultimate concern is democracy safeguarded, or are we moving to a manipulation of people? Despite his article centering on the development of AI, the same question and framework can be applied to that of social media's impact on the political processes and performance. Does social media democratize politics, or does it give greater power to those who already have access to it? What does this all mean, and have I answered my initial question? To question one, I'd say yes. Social media does impact political discussions and debates, and it does change social reality as a result. We see new political members become elected by and large due to social media, for better or worse. So my second question, social media is here to stay. And the way this technology develops is at this point nearly uncontrolled. Knowing this and seeing how impactful it can be, we must remain educated and critical of how social media impacts us as individuals and as people. It is a tool that has and will be either weaponized or utilized by the people. I'm your host, Victoria Martin, and this has been Penny Thoughts. Stay tuned to hear more.